Good morning, everybody. Sorry, it got a little late there. It is snowing up a storm right now. So, no suit on, and it's not casual Wednesday for me, so no camera. um, let's see. We got, let's see. Super Bowl's over. It's one of the largest national call-in sick days. They actually had a commercial online about it. Mucinex's commercial making fun of the call-ins that happened during the day after the Super Bowl. Phillies won. It's so exciting. Blah blah blah. Now we have to look forward to baseball. All right, but let's look at our markets. If we take a peek let's take a look at the close on let's look at our gold trade here. We had a bit of movement kind of all over the place. There was a massive dump in equities on Friday. We've been talking about these time cycles that have been coming to an end here, and today is pretty much the last day in those time cycles, February 4th and 5th. Those are important. Gann listed that date as important because there are usually important highs and lows that show up on the 4th and 5th. And also, we just recently had a new moon phase. That was that big moon confluence area, so we have a lot of bias for markets that are been long-term trending to change their tune over the next 2 weeks. So looking at gold, we had a short going on at 1341. At 1341.31 on Friday. That is still working, and we're still below this harmonic line at sorry, I'm getting a lot of Skype things going back and forth. Getting on a Skype. We're getting a lot of kind of sell pressure right on this harmonic, but we want to watch that because this angle, we did break through it on Friday. We're kind of wanting to test this value area. We're still below this support line, still below this angle. Kind of want to hold off on looking at any trade there right now. Let's see, the euro, we went short at a break and hold of 124.6. That is up here. That trade would still technically be active. We are, again, if we're looking at, we'll go back to that. We'll go back to these. Let's just keep going over these. New Zealand dollar, we wanted to go short at a break and hold of 733, which we did get, and that turned out to be a really nice trade. Yet on Friday, we kind of went back up and tested that value area. We're back down. We are trading below this angle. So as long as that doesn't break, we should consider this trend to be in a downwards move for now. We're really looking. We'll go back to that. I keep getting ahead of myself sometimes. Aussie dollar, very bearish. We did a short at if I re-entered a short at 179.8 because we still had a active short from here. This has been a pretty profitable trade for us over the last week and a half or so. Looks like we are getting a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders here, where it'll want to move up. Check that out. The dollar yen, that was turned out to be a really nice trade because we wanted to go long anywhere in the dollar 109 and above area. Because we had a bunch of trades last week. Like Thursday was good. Friday. Why is it over there? Try to get over there. But the dollar yen is looking like it's going to find some support here, which is good. And then that must have been I had a thing that said short and break and hold of 141. That must have been the dollar pound. Yeah. Yeah, that trade. A short and a break of 141.18. 41118. That's great that we broke this angle, broke a lot of supportive structure here. That's fantastic. And because the angles the angles all the way down here, we have there's a lot of drop down for us with this pair. In fact, if I look at it from this view, we are well below this line. Not well below, but we're below it enough, so that's a good break. We may have a good short setup happening there. We're gonna check on this a little bit more though. Okay, now let's take a quick look at what happened with equities. There was a big sell-off. This was the largest sell-off in equities since 2016, since Brexit. We had a big sell-off on Friday, like greater than 2% moves. NQ, same thing. And the ES, same thing. And futures are actually still down. These are the futures markets. These are delayed. I use Tradeovate as my futures broker. I don't trade futures as much as I used to. I just really don't. I still pay that data fee every month though. Okay, so we can look at futures, and I've noticed futures in equities, they like to cover their gaps. But let's look at the rest of our trades going ahead here. Okay, so we got gold. Gold is going to be we're going to want to only go long if we reach back into this trend. So I say no, it's 1344. And our short area will want to be below 113.34.28. It's the gold trade. Looking at the euro. We've got if I look at this, euro trade actually turning out pretty nicely for another bear move. Want to take a look at these on the longer term charts. Let's check these out on the weekly. All right. So on the weekly, let's clear that out there. So on the weekly, we've got this really major overbought conditions. I mean, we are way into no man's land. In fact, this level on the euro on the weekly chart, that is the highest level since 2015, and it's above the high in 2012, and so it's the second highest level in our composite index since 2010. All right, that is a pretty elevated level. It is very divergent, and it's not a very good sign going forward. We have like the maximum massive amount of volume. This is the most amount of volume traded on the euro last week since, oh man, wow, is that ever? That is the largest, oh my gosh, I didn't even notice that on the weekly. Wow, last week was the highest amount of volume traded ever in the euro. Now to me, that is not a good sign, especially at these elevated levels, because we did close lower. We did not reach a higher high. We did close above the open of last week, but that's a fairly bearish signal right there. Even our RSI is starting to coil down. Looking at it on the why is it like that? That's odd. On the daily, we are starting to trend down. We've got a longer term trend line right here, but it's going to paint that again, isn't it? Yep. A couple trend lines that need to break before we get a big old fallout. But we have a very obvious bias for some bearish momentum here because of our really overbought conditions and the levels that we're at. Let's drag us back down to the hourly. So if we're short on the break of this trend line, we'll have to see what happens as far as if it wants to come back into this value area and shoot back up. Because while these have been at very extended levels, the euro has just over a year has just decided that it will want to remain in overbought territory. It doesn't seem to care about that very much. But I'm just still looking at this here. That is it's not exactly the most sustainable move that it's had over the long term, is this really extended kind of condition. So this is a longer term trend line. Again, we drew this all the way back. How far back did that go? I drew it on the weekly, I believe. Correct? I seem to have a lot of those. Well, what the heck? Well, whatever. If we get a break below 12, 124.28, that's kind of what we're looking at is a probably 124.17. I mean, it's very possible that a lot of us have shorts active still up here and have not exited yet because we do have a lot of bearish momentum coming here. Bond markets are the bond markets and the stock markets are all really kind of up, and that's a funky area. The euro is kind of viewed as more of a risky currency than the dollar. We'll come back to this. I put that short in, but I'm not really seeing a lot of long buys here. Okay, back over here. Now the New Zealand dollar, that has been a fantastic short opportunity. And we should continue to watch how this guy trades along with gold and silver. But for the time being, we kind of have a natural area we've got to look out for. So the 45-degree angle is right here, Okay. Now the trading that we've been taking on the shorts over the last week on the New Zealand dollar pair, they've been more aggressive than I think a lot of folks would be comfortable with, especially given the long-term bull trend. But we have, if we consolidate over here, we are looking for a drive that would thrust down below this 45. The 45 may be tested as resistance, but to me, I'm anticipating some type of range trade, but really we could put in a couple. I want to enter in at least a conservative entry, because getting in early on a break of this 45, again, some of us are really short from all the way up here still, but to add to those shorts, I think playing a more conservative move here and getting this 45 tested and to break is going to be the wisest choice. So especially with the supportive line right below us at 72.66, we'll want to, because clearly when this breaks 73, even at this level, we're going to get some bouncing action off the 45. There's supportive structure as we go up here, so we'll want to look at these levels. So the only real, there may be a bounce opportunity of the 0.7288 zone. And we'll probably really only want to go short when we break and hold below 72.40. And let's see, looking at our dollar yen. Now it's down 0.3 from the open yesterday at 4. Now the dollar yen, if you remember, looking at this on a longer term chart, on a weekly chart, we have a very, I think I posted the idea on it as well. Yeah. UJ has a pretty pretty standard inverse head and shoulder pattern coming up here. So, you know, we have this kind of operation setting up here. Normal to have want to have a little sell-off after this big bullish move. That is a nice move we had on UJ, especially as we were coming into this downtrend on the weekly, and we had nice volume participation. That's pretty healthy. A lot of the currency trading is going to be kind of funky right now. When the equity market capitulates like it did on Friday, there's going to be people jittery, and that's going to and bonds are kind of going all over the place. That's really going to affect currencies quite a bit. So we may not see a whole lot of natural movement right away today. Be a little more on edge. But if I'm looking at the hourly, I want to go back to this chart. Looking at the hourly, we are still above this trend line. That's fine. You know, we right at this first overbought. If we can cross above, really, if we can trade above 109.91, that's a good, fine entry. And then we're looking at, I'm not really looking at the short yet. I mean, if there's a short, we really would want to get it below not just the trend line, but we do need to see it break 108.96. But for now, it's maintaining this trend up, and that's healthy and good, and that's fine. So we should just keep that going. Aussie dollar, inverse head and shoulders coming up here. he is, I think, very extended. But in this arc, we should see resistance off this arc. And if we don't, we'll see a big return up to this arc in the 45. Again, this angle, you know what? Let me... Oops. This angle is a 2x1 angle. So what this means is the 45-degree line in our square here. When price is trading on this, it means means that it's in equilibrium in time, price, and momentum. When it's beyond it, like right here on this 2x1 or 1x2, that means we're moving twice as fast in price as we are in time. So when you get really accelerated from this angle, the farther you get away from the 45, the more it's going to want to snap back. So the natural type of move here is for it to bank around into consolidation until we get to the 45, or we have a swift move back, or certainly we could have further extended swift moves down using this angle as kind of our resistance angle to keep pushing price down. So we do have, again, let's look at this weekly. This weekly is pretty telling. This weekly chart, that is a very, very bearish signal. Look at that. I mean, that is the most volume we've traded on the Aussie dollar since November of 2016. And second largest since June of 2016. So we've got a lot of monstrous volume participation as volume went up. If I'm looking at this also, we've got kind of a certainly got a setup like this. Certainly could see that kind of formation. All right. As far as looking on our daily, that's fairly bullish. That we may like to get a little retracement there. I think it's cool that it stopped right on the beginning of this time cycle. That's a pretty good sign. So we've got a couple options here. We really want to take. This is where I like to use Fibonacci's. I never like using Fibonacci's on lower than dailies, and preferably only on weeklies and monthlies. But if we're looking for re-entries on shorts, we're looking at where our Fibonacci's are going to intersect with the 45. So, bouncing momentum, retracement momentum should be limited to the 8028, 800 or 80 zone, and also our 7976. So we should look at how price reacts at this arc. If I'm looking at the hourly, if price cannot really push above the arc, then we should expect to come down to test this. So really shorting, actually, this has been a great move and we've taken a lot of profit on this short. So let's wait a day. It's obviously not wanting to push lower right now. I know it is only 755. We may want to wait to see how we're going to respond to this level. We'll just observe it. Even if we get some strong movement that we may miss, I'd rather see other participants dictate what level we're going to be trading at by the time we visit tomorrow morning. So we'll hold off on that one. Pound dollar. That ended up being a really great trade last week at a break of 141.84 for 141.18. That's a nice, that's a really nice entry actually that we had. Yeah. The move is pretty healthy. Yeah, this dumped around 5 in the morning. So I'm really not looking, and I believe you're below this trend line. Yes. Oh no, we're testing that trend line. So we have a fairly decent short opportunity at a break of this. So 140.22 would be a great short area. Again, with a lot of these entries I put up, make sure that your oscillators are not going to be in totally. I guess I really don't say that a lot. I'm just moving my chair over here. I was in a meeting for 2 hours with a couple other clients before I came here, and I've been standing the whole time. I have to go back out and shovel and snow blow more. It's one of those days. But we really want to make sure that when we're taking shorts or longs that we're not in any accelerated conditions on our composite index or our RSI. I should add the RSI back on here for y'all. And again, for those who don't know what this indicator is, this one right here, it's called the composite index. It was created by one of the greatest technical analysts ever, and one of the greatest modern technical analysts currently still with us. That sounds horrible. Constance Brown, because she's not old. But this is an indicator she created, the Constance Brown Composite Index plus RSI averages. So, really, the composite index is an upgraded version of the RSI, and it's got 2 RSI averages inside of it. And really, the easiest way to determine whether a level that we're going to approach, if we're approaching a trend line and we think we don't know if it's going to bounce, we just look at our composite index. And is the composite index lower than the 2 RSI averages? If it is, that's a good buy entry. Right? We don't want to be above this when we're taking along. All right? We want to be, the red line is the composite index. The green line is the faster RSI, the yellow is the slower RSI. All right? Sorry, excuse me. I'm tired. So that's our pound dollar trade. Looking at the euro pound. Well, yeah, euro showing that it has a lot more strength. Now this is an interesting sign. We broke above this angle. We're actually trading above it on the hourly. If we can close above this, that may be a fairly bullish signal on the euro against the pound. However, oh, you know what? No. When I'm looking at this, I don't like that. I don't like that trade. We are way divergent. I am of the shorting opinion with a tighter stop. So, looking at a short at current 0.8857. And the stop, this is me, one of the trades where I actually put in a stop opinion. We'll put a stop at 0.8877. That's a really tight stop. Because well, we could short there with the stop there, or short at break and below this angle. So we'd want to be trading below this angle at 88.48. All right. And we can I'll look at a longer time frame here. What are we looking at on the 12-hour? We're elevated on the, yeah, we're really up there on the 12-hour. 8-hour. is remember this exercise? When you see these elevated areas, put some vertical bars on your on the oscillator, and then compare it to how price reacts at those levels historically. Especially if they coincide with peaks in the RSI. So if we had an elevated level here, did we end up having down movement? Yep. Did we have elevated levels here? Down movement? Yep. Elevated levels here? Yep. Down. Elevated way down. That was a nice move, actually. So, I mean, yeah, same here. Same here. Definitely, to me, this is a very obvious short. Yep. Very obvious short on the euro pound. Good shorting opportunity. Now, let's go back. Okay, we'll come back here, but let's take a look at our cryptos real quick. You know, Bitcoin had a really nice bounce over the weekend, or on Friday, when it came down to here. What is this? Is this a trend line? What is that? Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. So Bitcoin had really nice activity here. We're getting a lot, as we're getting finally into the U.S. trading session, we're sitting on top of the 6.8 Fibonacci level. It'd be really great to get a bounce off of this area that we've tested at 76. And 76, 75, 74. Actually, even 6,800 wouldn't be a bad zone to test the buying range, but got a lot of skittish participants. There's a lot of different news coming out and going on. I mean, I'm still long, you know, anything and everything. Ethereum, same kind of story. Litecoin, same kind of story. Litecoin was definitely leading the charge here. It's well off its lows from over here at 100. It's healthier looking than its peers right now. You know what? Where's my... Here's my crypto chart. So 7,500, we're wanting to test. Our low is 7,540. And it's looking like we want to push that in the Bitcoin, maybe even push it lower and test lower. But we're getting pretty divergent on our hourly here. I mean, we're getting really divergent on our hourly. Just be aware of that. Ethereum, same issue, divergence on there. So I mean, yeah, we have, and then Litecoin entered into its support arc here. Nice to see how these arcs play out. We could fall back down through this though, but otherwise we should look for Litecoin to want to come back above. In fact, I might want to redraw the square here at some point. All right. Really not going to put up any trades on cryptos right now. Want to see how this goes, but let's go back and look at our Forex trades. So again, looking at gold, head and shoulders right there on the hourly, or on the 8 hour rather. I really have to consolidate my drawings, going back and forth on these, but yeah. So the gold trade is yeah, it's still looking a little short there. It's finding a lot of resistance up against there, you know, coming off of elevated levels in the composite index. Good to see that. Euro, oh wow. Yeah, we take our eyes off the euro a little bit, and it just kind of dumps. I had this line drawn because that was a stop area from last week, but I guess it's interesting if it holds as maybe a supportive area, because we had a short, want to go short at a break and hold of 124.17. Yeah, because we're going to want to get down a little further, but a break of that trend line is really important. I see a lot of down movement in the future with the euro. We definitely appears we're setting up for a corrective move, which I think we need. I think it's really healthy and that we need that kind of move because if we do want to have higher prices in the euro, we're going to want to return to some type of consolidative period again. All right. So pullback here, very healthy. We should look forward to that. Okay, New Zealand dollar is definitely falling off of its cross above there, so we may get that short opportunity may show up here at 72.88. We may get that opportunity soon. The yen still showing a little bit of a struggle, sitting right on there. The move off of the 109.84 is either going to be a quick move down and up or just quick down, or it won't want to sit on this level for very long. It'll want to move away from it fairly quickly. Aussie dollar not wanting to push higher. It's looking a little bearish. We'll see though. Things can change. And the pound dollar falling a lot. The European markets took a big hit. So did the Asian markets. Everything's kind of taken a bit of a punch in the nose this morning. In our excuse me, gosh. Sorry if I made anybody yawn because those are contagious. Yeah, we've got this might be the best setup trade we see today is this euro pound. Depending on how our levels hold out, this short could end up being very nice. Depending on how the pound responds versus the euro. So, wow, that is I like seeing those moves, guys. That's good. Like to see some. Like to take some off the table of these long positions. I want to point this out too. When you see prices going up in this area and you see volume going down on the way up or increasing on the way up, it's a sign of distribution. People exiting their positions, institutions, professional traders. When you see these large volume sell bars, that's an early signal that something's going to happen. Because when you don't see a lot of green bars, showing up and having big moves to respond, we're just seeing a lot of people selling off these positions. If we look at the daily, we just a lot of divergence here, a lot of bias for lots of down pressure. So definitely be careful with your longs. But man, there's a lot of bearishness in risky assets right now. Okay, a lot of bearishness. So be careful. I think we've got some good setups for a Monday, especially after last week's mini dump in equities in the U.S. equities. We've got probably a nice corrective week ahead of us, which would be great. Really nice to see a corrective wave and everything. So, I think we're gonna have a good start to our week. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you got some rest. Hope you feel rejuvenated. If you did party hardy because of the Super Bowl, don't go into trading with a hangover. You'll just prolong your recovery and make dumb decisions. I've done that many times. I still do that. But yeah, we've got some good opportunities coming up here. I think these are good setups and entries we've got coming into the day here. So watch these positions as they go. Watch especially your natural or trend areas, and yeah, we will. What am I trying to say? I know I gotta go snow blow. I'm a little tired from all that stuff. Long meeting this morning, really early, and then I gotta go snow blow. Have a good week. Have a good Monday. Have a good first trade day, and we'll visit with you guys tomorrow morning. Bye bye.